Hi, and welcome back to another episode of History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and today's episode, I'm going to get into some really fun things about fan mail. So I went through archives and pulled a whole pile of really cool, letters and requests for, dubs and fan subs and that kind of stuff from back in the day. And I'm starting to sorting them out, okay, and putting them into the binders and stuff like that to kind of basically, to organize them by name so that when certain names come up, then I might be able to look them up in the index and find out, how I interact with them. But as I'm going along, I'm noticing that there are different categories for these fan mail. So I'm basically going to go through them and go through each one by various different topics. Okay. So before I get into some of the examples and some of the things that are in these mails. I want to remind people to go down below and click like and click subscribe because that helps out the YouTube algorithm, as well as if you have some comments and maybe some stories of your own about when getting started in anime and that kind of stuff. By all means, write it down below. I'd love to hear your story as well. Okay. If you'd like to support me financially, I do have the super thanks button below, so that you can click on that. As well as I do have the PayPal and Patreon links there. I have a whole, now up to 15 episodes of subscriber-specific content. And there's one now I've also managed to find a whole pile of other neat things that I'm going to go through. I managed to find the hentai catalog that I used to have in my store. So when people come into the store and need their hentai fix, yes, I have an entire binder sorted in alphabetical order for that. So again, one of the episodes I'm going to go through that manually and go through some of the titles and make my recommendations of some of the again, usually when people go through the binder going, hey, is this thing really good? And like, yeah, of course, there's what you got? You got girls that have things with blowing off clothes and tentacles and that kind of stuff. What came in there? That's all the good stuff is all in there. So so anyway, those type of episodes I obviously can't put on YouTube, but I can put it in the subscriber section. So definitely you want to check that out. All right. So today's episode is about fan mail, and so we're going to go through some of the examples here of some people that in the past and how they've managed to get anime. All right. So without further delay, let's look at some fan mail. Okay, in today's episode, I'm going to start off with a letter from Keith Poolswat. He is from FPO AP, and he basically writes, I recently bought a Protoculture Addicts number 15 and saw articles about your club offering fan subs of anime. Okay, and of course, in the previous episode, I mentioned how leaving a classified ad in a Rose magazine, a fanzine. The Protoculture Addicts magazine then took a copy of that and put it in their magazine, and of course, so many people. Their magazine is available in a lot of comic book shops and anything that has to do with media and popular stuff like that. They get that particular magazine. So obviously, Heath writes me a letter and asks for all of the Orange Road series, the movies and the OVAs, the Ariel, Assemble Insert, Gal Force, the Palliard movie, and the Record of Lotus Wars. And he sends a whole bunch of tapes to get them done. And he sends it in from Hawaii. Okay. Now, in this particular episode, I picked this because one of the things that happens is that when you send physical products, physical merchandise from one country to another, there is the possibility that you might get charged a export or a duty. So in this particular case, what had happened is he sent the parcels using UPS. Of course, in order to clear it, UPS takes the value of what you said that the particular blank tapes are worth and says, oh, okay, well, based on that, you have to pay a particular amount, which is usually the GST. So, for example, if you say that the thing is $100 worth of let's say videotapes, then you need to pay 7% GST, which is $7 on it. To make sure that it clears customs and make sure that your customer can get it. You can pay the bill afterwards, but you will be billed $7. And that will go to the government, to cover your services tax, government services tax, which we refer to as the GST. And then what usually also happens is UPS or Perlator or FedEx, okay, USPS would also charge you a processing fee. So, i.e., we're going to charge you an extra $15, $20 because one of our guys had to do the paperwork for you in order to get this to you in a reasonable amount of time. Because obviously, if it's being FedEx to you, like overnight or not and whatnot, you don't want it to be held up in customs waiting for someone to pay for it, right? Yeah, you just want to say, hey, just deliver it to me in 1 or 2 days, overnight delivery type of thing, and then they'll just charge you afterward. This is what exactly happened in this particular case, where then UPS sent me a bill saying that, hey, you have to pay clearance on this. So it says, dear UPS customer, we have received a shipment for you that I'm unable to contact you to arrange clearance through Canada Customs, okay? And then in order for us to assist you, you must contact us, and then they give you all this information, all this and whatnot, okay? And then eventually what they do is they'll send you a bill to pay for the thing. And so, of course, I have to write a letter then back to Keith to tell him, okay, yep, I got your tapes, so, right, no problem. I'm going to be able to work on that. It says, I have received your tapes in the mail a week ago. I had to pay customs duty charge on the tapes as they crossed the Canadian-U.S. border. The custom bill is enclosed in this envelope, and your tapes will be held until this bill is paid. You can adjust the payment to me. He gave me a little bit of money for the the return postage, which is fine. But of course, now that I get charged as an extra charge to to basically take his tapes and dub them, then I usually have to write him back a letter, tell him that okay, I need a little bit more money because I have to pay for the customs. And then of course Kevin follows up and sends me another check to pay for the customs. So this is one of these annoying things that we had to do in the past, where when we're sending tapes over the border, this is always a big thing, and it can also happen the other way around. So if I'm sending things back from Canada, I'm sending your tapes back to Hawaii, for example, there's a possibility that the U.S. Customs will stop that and say, hey, these tapes are worth $100, and in Hawaii, customs fee or whatever is 5.5%. Okay, so that means you owe us $5.50. Okay. And then, of course, that again, it has to be paid to the U.S. government. Particular carrier, let's say, for example, it's UPS again, they will make a bill to Keith saying that, hey, you owe us $5.50 for you to get your tape. And then, of course, we'll charge you another $15 because, our employees at UPS here had to fill out the paperwork for you to collect this money so that you can get these tapes on time. This is always one of those problems that we've always gotten to. Now, the idea is that, that we did in the past is that we under-declared a lot of the tapes. I mean, it might be a $10, video cassette, but we figured, well, most video cassettes are, can be cheap, right? They can be, $5 video cassettes or something like that. And so we'll just write down $5 as the declaration value of the tapes, or because it's a used tape, so therefore it's not worth $10 or $5. It's only worth $2. The inside this parcel is $100 of video cassettes. No. There's only $20 of video cassettes in this box because each tape is only worth $2, right, or whatever. That kind of idea, right? And usually, if the value is so low, taking 5.5% of like only $20 is only a couple of cents or whatever, under $1. So they figured, okay, we're not going to charge them. We'll just let this go. It's not worth the the time or the paperwork to fill it out for just something like 50 cents or something, right? So that's how we usually kind of the whole entire concept of declare it as a gift because there's a certain amount of allowance if you send something as a gift, or write a smaller number so I don't get charged customs. Okay, and that was a really sort of a kind of one of those unwritten rules that we had to do back in the day. The next example is from Franklin Wang from Folsom, California. And again, what he's done is he also sent a whole bunch of video cassettes and stuff to get Orange Road and everything like that. And again, he's using some expensive TDK EHGs. Now, his strategy of doing it is instead of sending all 14 tapes in one huge bundle, which increases the amount of the customs declaration, he broke it up into 3 different boxes. The boxes themselves have less value, right? So instead of having, let's say, for example, 14 let's say $10 tapes in them, and that that would make it like $140, right? That would be obviously enough to trigger to going, oh, you have to pay 7% GST on $140. That's a significant amount. That would be probably worth doing the paperwork on it. But by breaking up into 3 different parcels, right? There's only, let's say, maybe 4 tapes in any one box, maybe 5, just for the extra ones. So, on those tapes, they could be only like, $10 tapes. You could write, a $40 or $50 of declaration. Still a little high, but definitely a lot lower than, let's say, 140. Now, in theory, he could have maybe, peeled all the plastic and stuff off of the tapes and that kind of stuff, so it makes it look like a used tape. He could put his own labels and stuff on the tape so that every tape will have his name on it. It'll have what he wants recorded, Orange Road, and that kind of stuff. He could be written on all the tapes. So then it basically looks like a used tape. And so the value of a used tape is not as high as if it was a brand new shrink wrap tape. And therefore, instead of saying, there's $40 or $50 worth of tapes in this one box, there could be only, let's say, half the value, right? So let's say that it's only a $20 box. And so now it's clearly less expensive, not worth charging the customs fee on it. And then, that means go ahead, let this go through customs and, just let it be delivered. And so a lot of times that's what people, make parcels really smaller. So that's why a lot of tape dubbers and that kind of stuff at the time would say, maximum number of 3 or 4 tapes at once. Okay, so that eliminates that, possibility of getting too expensive. And of course, there's the unwritten rules of, declare as a gift, or write lower declaration on it so that you don't get charged, that kind of thing. Again, because hardly anyone ever used, tracking services or airmail or anything. They just want it in the cheapest possible way, snail mail type of thing, by mailing these things to them. Okay. We'll have more episodes with more content and more reflections of basically, what these fan mails, reveal about the history of anime and how they occurred. And basically, I've covered a lot of these topics. Now it's just it's refreshing and you can see for yourself in the mail and the things that other people have commented about. Basically just reinforces what I've been trying to tell you guys and trying to illustrate to you this environment. So this hopefully fills it out better. Basically gives you that a better picture, I guess you can say, of what it would be like to be an anime fan back in the 90s when we were just getting this anime thing started. All right. So again, don't forget to go down below, click like and subscribe for that, because there will be more. All right. So until next time, I will see you again.